For many Australians, this is increasingly becoming the popular vehicle of choice. Utes were once solely the domain of tradesmen, but now, with their becoming more comfortable and more refined, they're increasingly becoming fodder for families and weekend warriors. The question is, can the humble hay hauler still do the rough stuff as well? Well, to find out, we've come to one of the most rugged places on earth, the Australian desert.
Mazda's BT50 underwent the lightest of facelifts earlier this year, with designers focusing on the styling of its polarising front end. The updated model also scores a touchscreen that features sat-nav on top-grade XTR and GT variants. A reverse camera is also standard on the high-end model grades and optional across the rest of the range.
We're driving the dual-cab XTR variant. Now, as you can see, there are a few non-standard fitments on this thing, and it's all in the vein of where we're driving. It's spot on for what we want. We've got the bull bar, driving lights, UHF aerial, even the snorkel. Whether it's going to stand up to the corrugated roads out here, well, time will tell, but we've definitely got the right look.
Our journey takes us from the opal mining town of Coober Pedy right through to Oodnadatta in central Australia. In between, we take in some of the harshest conditions imaginable, with the mercury soaring towards 40 degrees and the red outback dust infiltrating every part of the vehicle.
Driving out here is definitely different from, I guess, the regular sort of roads that these things would cover. I mean, for one, we've been basically exclusively dirt. About 8 kilometres out from Coober Pedy, we hit the dirt track, and it's been that ever since now. So it's interesting, actually. This road was graded a couple of weeks ago, so it probably hasn't been quite as bad as what I expected. But even so, the corrugations are fairly persistent, and yeah, the car can shake it around a bit through corners. So it's just that thing, you've just got to be mindful, I guess, of what's ahead. We've had quite a few occasions here where there's been multiple dips in a row, and I think if you hit at the wrong speed, it could be fairly catastrophic. So definitely don't want to be doing that.
We eventually arrive at Oodnadatta, some 200 kilometres north of Coober Pedy.
Welcome to Oodnadatta, population about 180 people. This marks about the halfway point of our road trip today, and as you can see, we've got the iconic pink roadhouse in the background. And this is widely regarded as the hottest, driest place in Australia, so a real test for these cars.
After a quick pit stop, it's time to hit the sandhills.
I've got the rear diff lock engaged, so basically it turns off traction control and drives both wheels with equal power. And now is the moment of truth. It's going to be bouncy. Woo! This is fun stuff.
After an eventful session testing the BT50's off-road ability, we refuel at Oodnadatta, where diesel is now $2 a litre. We then head south for our overnight stay at Arkaringa Station.
Well, when most people come to the outback, they might be expecting just flat plains and that's about it. But this just goes to demonstrate just how diverse it is. We've just come into Mount Barry Station. We're still about 100 kilometres from Coober Pedy, and just look at it. You've got, you know, all these big rocks, jagged edges, even a bit of bull dust on the road that we're on, and it sort of gives you an opportunity to go out and test the four-wheel drive capabilities of these things. The incredible thing about this landscape is they haven't actually had serious rain here for about 6 years, and it's sort of equally grim looking ahead. But even despite that, there's plenty of greenery, there's trees here, and there's actually been quite a bit of wildlife as well. We've seen a couple of big red kangaroos, even a wedge-tailed eagle in the mix as well. So a little bit of a break now, and then we'll get back on the road and head back down south.
We eventually take the turn-off for Arkaringa Station and follow the road west. The dirt surface is in surprisingly good conditions after recently being graded. The corrugations are tolerable, especially in the BT50, however the occasional bit of wildlife and road cattle means you have to have your wits about you. We arrive at Arkaringa, a 500,000 acre cattle station, just in time to see the sunset. The next morning is an early start in order to see one of the most spectacular sunrises you'll ever come across. It's then back on the road south to Coober Pedy to complete our short yet enlightening journey.
Well, today's highlighted something altogether different with the sort of driving that we're doing. There's a lot of different landscapes. It almost feels like we're driving on the moon at the moment. Lots of little rocks, even bull dust in parts. And what it's highlighted is just how effective the stability control systems are in these modern cars. I mean, a couple of times we've come into a corner, my fault of course, a little bit hot, and the system's just pulled everything back into line, and it sort of gives you that reassurance that you know, you're going to be safe and sound. So you sort of think back to 200 kilometre trek, and as I said, we've got a variety of different surfaces, so yeah, we'll just see what comes ahead and count down the Ks till the finish line. We've now arrived back at Coober Pedy Airport where it all began. The car is pretty much unscathed other than a lot of red dust through everything, but what this trip's really done is demonstrate exactly why the Ute is so popular. You can do all the runaround stuff, but as we've shown in the last couple of days, you can go out and do an outback trip as well. It's been very fun and very enjoyable.